What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite pond, the Coy Pond, episode 78. How about them apples? Back in another week, and this week we will be talking about where every AFC team stands, ranking-wise, from least to best, post-NFL draft, and kind of the free agency market.
Phase one,
yeah. Kind of the start of the NFL season after post-draft, where everyone kind of ranks up amongst each other. We're only doing the AFC this week. We'll be doing NFC next week. Boop. And as always, you know where to find us on YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and as always, submit your questions to SpeakPipe in the description below. And don't forget, hook yourself up with some merch. It's live, bountiful, and plenty.
Woohoo!
Plenty of options, plenty of choices.
Looking fine.
As the summer approaches, everyone needs something a little new for their golf outing or what have you.
Koi Pond fine.
Yeah. Coy Pond something. Merch. Kind of went into that not knowing what the end of it was going to be. That's on me. But nevertheless, the draft is over. There's been some pretty big transactions throughout the NFL as a whole. You know, every team's kind of focused on what they feel like they need to do next, whether that's front office and the coordinators, whether that's players on the team, whether that's signing someone, cutting somebody.
NFL schedule, just to make a note of that, comes out next Wednesday, I think?
Yes, May 14th. That's a week. Yeah, so...
I screwed that up. I thought it was Thursday. So I thought we had Thursday to do our...
Oh.
So it'll come out tonight, next week.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday night.
Next,
which
a
sucks.
week from today.
Right.
That's fine. Well, you know, the beauty of that is we could take a week in between the NFC and the AFC.
Oh, we could, yeah.
And talk schedule in between.
Yep, except that the schedule will come out Wednesday night. Yeah, this will come out Thursday. Of course, we could do that.
We could just push the week back, too, and do NFC next week because you're right. The schedule will be a live event, and it'll go on at 8 o'clock after we're done
I was hoping to do a mock week one schedule.
That could wait till the next week.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Well, at least I don't think. Hey, let us know in the comments below. We'll figure it out. We're taking it week by week. But without further ado...
Further ado.
It is kind of been the week this week. Let's dive into where the FC teams stack up as of right now.
Do we want to talk about 78 now, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and before we get into that, a little teaser for you. Episode 78, who is your favorite player that wore number 78?
Wow. Does it have to be the Cowboys?
Not necessarily.
Okay. So if it was the Cowboys, since you didn't have one, right? I'll do two.
Be my guest.
I guess I would say probably the most famous 78 that I could think of is Bruce Smith for the Bills.
Okay.
Just dominating defensive player.
Oh.
I think he played for the Redskins toward the end of his career.
Gotcha.
But largely with the Bills.
Got it.
Probably one of the all-time sack leaders if you look it up. He's probably in the top, maybe the top 5, top 8. 78 on the Cowboys would have to be the always in the wrong spot, Leon Lett.
Oh.
An excellent talent, excellent player, but just had a knack for fucking up moments.
Oh my God.
The Cowboys were well on their way in the first Super Bowl against, ironically, the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys were well on their way to scoring the most points in Super Bowl history. If you remember the video, Leon Lett running down the sideline, strutting with the ball out, and good old Don Beebe, never to give up on a play, came out of nowhere and stripped the ball out of Leon Lett's hands, and it was a touchback.
Ooh.
Yeah, moronic shit. Next season after that, on Thanksgiving, snow in Dallas.
Okay.
Cowboys playing the Dolphins at Dallas, and the Dolphins are kicking a game-winning field goal, and the Cowboys block it, and idiot Leon Lett goes down and tries to recover it, which he didn't need to do.
Right.
Muffs it, sliding in the snow. The Dolphins recover it, get a first down, and go on and win the game.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So
he really had a knack.
You know, a special guy. A special player at number 78 for the Cowboys. Iconic, if you will.
And the most brutal part, I mean, if you talk to any Cowboy fan and say Leon Lett, they'd be like, oh, good God, Leon Lett. Anybody that was watching at that time.
Right.
But immense talent and just bonehead moments.
Oh, you know, sometimes that's how it goes. And kudos to him for just being consistent.
Yeah, there you go.
Consistently in the wrong spot.
That's right.
It's very unfortunate.
Well,
now that we have that out of the way, 78, of course, counting down the 16 teams where they stack up. AFC side.
That's right. So we're going to start with number 16, and that is the Tennessee Titans.
I don't think too many people will be surprised.
That's why the draft is the way it is. The worst team drafts first, right? And with Cam Ward over Will Levis.
Yep.
And Cam Ward comes into a better situation than Will Levis had, in all fairness.
Yep.
The offensive line for the Titans is better through free agency additions, Dan Moore Jr. and Kevin Zettler.
Yeah.
And then they got offensive weapons to go with it. So, and Tyler Lockett was signed as well.
Tyler Lockett being signed there is going to help him a lot. Was Trayvon Burks, I want to say might have been there.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Lockett brings in a lot of stuff. Veteran mindset, someone who can at least help everyone out. No, he will still not probably be taking any big hits in the NFL as per usual, but that's more than Levis had. It doesn't mean they're going to be great, but
no. They will improve, but, going to be still a rough road, right?
Their ceiling's really like 13th in the AFC. It's not too high.
No.
But striving, going in the right direction. They still have Callahan, I think it is their head coach.
Yep, Brian Callahan.
So I know Titans fans last year were pretty suicidal. I think it's only up. It can't really get that much worse from where it was, and that's kind of the beauty of the worst place.
Yeah, exactly.
Expectations are low, so if you just do good enough, that might do it.
New stadium probably, I think, the year after coming up.
I forgot about
that's
that.
Exciting.
The renderings for those that came out last year looked really kind of cool. I mean, new stadiums, new life kind of thing. So every NFL team seems to be doing it, and that'll help them out as well.
Exactly. Lift their spirits a little bit.
And, when I visited that stadium a couple years ago, wasn't terrible, but, it kind of has that old school vibe.
It does.
And that's nothing wrong with that, but I could see a new one being a big help.
I was there in 2014. Cowboys played the Titans. And it's just a very basic stadium they have.
It doesn't...
Nothing special, but it was
right
good.
On the river.
Enjoyed it.
Right next to Nashville. You can walk right downtown. Yeah, it's perks.
There you go.
But number 15.
The Cleveland Browns. Oh,
I don't know.
Arguably the biggest cock-up in the draft.
Yes.
And I just say that because it's the Browns.
It's the Browns.
Travis Hunter, I'm sorry. I just don't think there's any scenario in a draft ever where when a player is designated as a generational talent, you pass. And he was right there. All they had to do was pick him. But it is the Cleveland Browns.
Now, the trade was set up for not terribly for them. They've had worse trades in that spot in the last 10 years.
They have.
So that's where I keep going back and forth. Obviously, no one has any idea how any of these first-round rookies that are supposed to carry teams end up. But getting the first round of Jaguars next year, where I think the Jaguars still might be shit, I don't know. We'll see. But you're right, generational talent. You can't pass up on that. So out of the gate, not winning any favorites from the crowd.
Well, and what's ironic about it is the very player they gave up, I have a feeling the Jaguars are going to wind up in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
And the very player that they gave up to trade for the pick is going to screw them in the draft next year.
Oh.
Because he's going to help them win games.
Yes.
Just a matter of how many. But I would say the chances of the Jaguars, who are 14th on this list, doing better are pretty good.
Yes.
The Browns.
Quarterback.
Yeah. Is there any doubt that Shedeur Sanders is going to be the quarterback of the Browns?
I would say so.
I mean, is it going to be Dylan Gabriel from Oregon?
I mean,
he's 5'11", for God's sake.
I would say Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett would have just as good of a shot as those two, to be honest.
Yeah, and don't forget, Deshaun Watson is still there.
And still fighting. So they've got, what, 5? Is that 5 names that could potentially be a quarterback? If no one knows right now. And this is what happened last year.
It's a clown show.
It is. It's a clown show. To put it nicely, they've got 5 quarterbacks on the roster right now, or in some ways worked in.
Yeah.
Maybe not Kenny Pickett. Maybe that's a stretch, and maybe not Dylan Gabriel. Yeah. But you'd have to assume between Deshaun Watson, who they've paid too much, Joe Flacco, who's a proven old man that can win regular season games, and Shedeur Sanders, something is going to have. You heard that too, right? Mm-hmm. I think we're all right.
Okay.
And between Shedeur Sanders, something is going to have to just work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't. Maybe day one is Joe Flacco.
Maybe.
I could see that being the case. I don't think it's going to be Kenny Pickett. I think it's really between Flacco and Sanders. I don't know.
It's gonna be a clown show as per usual. Browns being at 15 makes a boatload of sense to me personally.
Yep. Jaguars again at 14. We're going to have, again, Travis Hunter there.
Yeah,
step in the right
direction. They dropped Gabe Davis today. I don't know if you saw that.
Did they really?
Yeah, Jaguars dropped Gabe Davis. So, I mean, I guess Travis Hunter, maybe. Who knows what their plan is. I don't know how many wide receiver moves they've really made this offseason.
Looks a little rough. I mean, Browns probably will have a good draft pick, but we'll see what happens. Huh?
Yeah, and Jaguars' defensive line wasn't terrible last year either.
Yeah.
You got to get the running game established and keep Trevor Lawrence healthy.
Yep.
That's a huge part of their game. Even though Mac Jones didn't look really quite that bad towards the end, but they still need to prove that they're a legit team.
Right.
And getting the guy from the Buccaneers as their head coach.
Yeah. Liam
Cohen. It's going to be a huge help for him.
Yep.
But 14 feels about right given what they've shown us so far.
Yep. Jets at lucky number 13. Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Aaron Glenn.
All right.
Justin Fields. I didn't hate Justin Fields. The Bears kind of pulled a Browns move and dropped a quarterback that kind of worked.
Yeah.
To try something new.
Yeah, they get the tight end. They get the right tackle, Membao.
Yeah.
Mason Taylor. Again, new coach.
Yep.
He'll find a way to get them moving.
You still got Garrett Wilson. You still got Breece Hall.
Yep.
They had another running back. For some reason I'm just blanking.
Yeah. Braylon Allen?
Yes.
Yeah, from Wisconsin, I think.
I think he's still there.
He is.
But quite frankly, the Jets don't feel that far away. They seemed close having Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers last year in that offense. Their defense let them down. They have a defensive-minded coach now.
Yeah.
And I don't think many pieces changed on the defense necessarily. No. So if that gets up and moving, I could see the Jets being way higher. But for right now, 13 feels a good spot for the Jets.
Yeah.
A lot of the bottom four, I think you could interchange as needed.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, I think the Jets would be above the Jaguars and Browns given the current moment.
Mm-hmm. Number 12.
Yes.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, so Raiderland.
Got to be better, right?
Got to be better. They have Pete Carroll.
Got Tom Brady in there doing whatever he's doing.
Yep.
Geno Smith.
Yep.
That's better.
Ashton Genty.
Yep.
He went to the Raiders, right? Am I remembering that right?
Ashton Genty, yes, I believe he did.
So they're picking it all up.
Right.
They're getting there. Pete Carroll finds his running back. Geno Smith, obviously. Solid regular season quarterback. They just got to figure out some of the defense. Some of the defensive pieces, maybe, more or less.
Got Max Crosby, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know.
The Raiders are a wild card. The AFC West kind of floats up and down. Being a Chargers fan, I could see them taking a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
I could also see them winning a couple games they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
It
is Pete Carroll.
It is Pete Carroll. He took his year off, I think, basically from coaching overall, year two, and he's back. So we'll see if Grandpa has it. I really don't know. That team should be good.
Probably be taking his shirt off some more.
Yeah. That gum.
Yeah.
Chewing on that gum ferociously on the sideline. Yeah, that's back.
Walking up and down. Good Lord.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we did miss that, didn't we?
Exactly. And Geno Smith coming from the Seahawks as of late, I'm sure that's a connection too that they'll be able to connect on. The Raiders should be better.
Yep.
They kind of overhauled everything.
Well,
and the defense was all right.
Yep. Well, we'll have owner Davis there with his 23-year-old girlfriend or whatever it is.
Yeah, Mark Davis.
So, Mark Davis, thank you.
Yeah, a bit of that bowl cut, that horrifying haircut.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He does that himself,
But yeah, the Raiders will be a bit of a wild card. I really don't know what to expect. It never feels like they're that much better, but
they never find a way to pick a few games off, don't they?
Pick a few games.
Yeah. Number 11, the Colts. Indianapolis Colts.
Now, this will be interesting this year. AR-15 tapped out of a game last year. That created a whole controversy and started a whole wave of, can Anthony Richardson stay in an entire game? That was crazy. The running back, Jonathan Taylor, he hasn't looked like himself since he held out. Now, the team kind of was going through some ups and downs last year, that's for sure. They were in it to the end, kind of.
Yep.
They were out, but had the possibility of getting in late. And I think it really relies on if they've got a quarterback or not. 11 might be high.
Might be.
Honest to God. And it might be a couple low.
So, Who do we have here as quarterback? Is this Daniel Jones?
I think it's more of the security blanket of Daniel Jones, but Anthony Richardson, I believe,
still his job.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he'll have Daniel Jones really a veteran. He'll have
from the Giants
a second mind to bounce ideas off of, maybe.
Doesn't hurt, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah, you're right though. This could be, and they got Tyler Warren, the tight end in the draft, but this could be high for them.
It could be 11. You know, I hate to say it because I kind of like it when the Colts are good. It's fun when Lucas Oil Stadium's pumping.
Yep.
But I don't know if they will be.
Doesn't look very promising at the moment.
I don't remember any certain free agents they've signed this offseason that have really made any sort of splashes.
Yeah.
It's felt more like, how does this team get better? Mm-hmm. And it's been working a lot with AR-15. And, every team puts out videos of their players doing well, but we need to see it in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
And that division with the Texans right now is not going to make their lives any easier.
Nope. Patriots at 10. Patriots are, unlike the Colts, the Patriots are coming up.
Oh, the Patriots are on quite the rise.
Yep.
You get Stephon Diggs. They drafted Will Campbell.
Yep.
Saved Drake May.
Yep.
Running back, they've got...
who's that? Oh, Trayvon Henderson.
Yes.
Yep.
They drafted. I mean, the Patriots really hit everything they needed to in the draft, and having Mike Vrabel will set a tone in that building, unlike Mayo tried to, where, was he the one that had the quote that once they hit the field, I can't coach them anymore?
Yeah.
Insane thing to say.
Yeah.
That should stay behind closed doors, lock and key. I have no doubt that this team is going to be a lot better, a lot faster.
And just seeing Mike Vrabel on the sideline will make Patriot fans feel better.
Yes, exactly.
Again, you know what you got there.
Familiar face, amazing coach. He also
tough
took a
son
year
of a
off,
bitch.
Came back.
Yep.
The craziest thing was, according to Vegas odds, and given this is based on Vegas odds win totals, the Patriots, I think, technically have the third or fourth easiest strength of schedule this year.
Really?
So I could see them sneaking in a couple wins. They're going to be the team that looks really good on the record on paper, probably, or better than anybody expected. And I think 10 might be fair. It might be a crazy thing to say. I think 10 if they have an easier schedule with a very improved team, could be doable.
Yep. And let's see, it's 17-game season now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could see the Patriots being like 7-10.
7-10. Right. Yep. That is such an improvement from where they were last year.
They have 3 wins, I think. 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
On their way up, it would make perfect sense, in all honesty.
And I'll tell you one thing, in my thinking, number 9, Miami, the Dolphins?
Yes.
I think the Patriots will finish ahead of the Dolphins.
Well, let's get into it.
The Dolphins,
Dolphins at number 9.
The vibes aren't exactly great in Miami. What a leadoff.
Yes.
Jalen Ramsey.
Looking for a way out. It's
Tyreek Hill?
Who
knows?
Baby mama problems, I believe, on top of also wanted to way out before Mike McDaniel shut that down and told him to piss off.
Tua?
Injury issues. Putting it nicely.
Scrambled eggs, baby.
There are injury issues with Tua. I can barely talk as a Chargers fan, but let's just be honest where we're at. Tua has got issues with just staying healthy during the regular season. They still have Waddle.
Yep.
Waddle's still a demon.
Yep.
But that defense fell apart last year, to what I remember. And on top of it, Tua was out for a while, and they had Lamar copy-paste.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is off the top of my head.
I can't either. It was so memorable.
You know who I'm talking about. It's just a great all-around.
Kenneth Grant out of Michigan next to Zach Seiler could be fun. Jonah Savanea boosts the interior of the offensive line, and then Jordan Phillips out of Maryland adds some interior pass rushing ability.
Yeah,
so maybe the lines are good.
Yes. It felt like in the draft they addressed both sides of the ball in the trenches, which is where you got to start. To be completely honest, it feels like that's... I can't remember if that's what they were missing. I mean, they had no offense when Tua wasn't in.
Yeah.
But regardless, they started in the trenches. They had a pretty good draft from what I remember.
Yeah.
So that might be enough to keep them in it if they can just figure some stuff out behind the scenes. I don't think it's not like they're missing pieces.
Right.
They still had Mostert and A-Chain. They still had that tight end Wilson, I think it was.
Yeah.
That really popped off at the end of that season.
Logan Wilson?
I think so.
Yeah.
So it was a Wilson, I'm pretty sure. But
Mr. Wilson?
Mr. Wilson. And
Mr. Wilson!
All they need to do is stay healthy, and they'll be half decent.
Yeah, but I think the Patriots leap them this year.
I could see it. I mean, the Dolphins had a couple years there where they had an AFC East that was only being run by the Bills.
Yep. It's gone.
It might be gone.
Yep.
We'll have to see. Number 8.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep. So, Steelers gave away George Pickens today.
Yeah, well, I don't think they gave him away. A third-round pick for the Cowboys is pretty generous from Jerry.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just give up shit for next year's draft. That's what we love to do. We gave up a fourth last year for Jonathan Mingo.
So is that
mean Mingo ain't your baby?
Well, at least they understood that Pickens is better than Mingo.
Yeah,
but
is he?
You tell me, buddy.
Is Pickens a wide receiver too?
If Mingo's 3,
because the Cowboys have been saying wide receiver 2, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 2. Look, we're gonna make a big splash. Pickens, a problem child for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's probably happy to get rid of his ass.
Probably. Change of scenery could be good for him.
What does Logan think about that one?
I didn't ask. I didn't have the heart to ask him today, to be honest. I was pretty busy, but
I about walked in there at one point today and just said, "You're welcome."
Yeah. Maybe
trash to treasure, baby.
And here's the thing. On the Steelers, he was kind of had to be a wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
On the Cowboys, he's not that anymore.
True.
Change of scenery in Texas, nicer weather.
Cowboys have like CD Lamb and like 16 receivers.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, there's no doubt he can't argue who's number 1, and maybe that helps him.
Maybe it does. You're right.
And Cowboys pass like hell.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a quarterback in 3 years.
Yeah. So, question with the Steelers, really.
Yeah.
Will Rodgers go there, or is Will Howard it?
8 for Steelers, I think, if Rodgers goes there. I think they drop a little bit if Will Howard's there, only because you're going Rodgers versus Howard, a rookie versus a veteran, no matter how you feel about him.
Yeah.
It's just how it would be.
I mean, hell of a draft. Again, Derek Harmon, defensive tackle.
The Steelers made out like bandits.
Caleb Johnson, great running back from Iowa.
Yep.
Jack Sawyer, who captain for the Buckeyes, fun pass rushing prospect. I mean, I think that's a hell of a pick right there to me.
Steelers,
and you got DK Metcalf.
Yes. Steelers did numbers, and on top of it, if they somehow get Rodgers, I think that's going to be a number 8 in the AFC at the very minimum. Maybe.
Yep. That would be the floor if Rodgers is there.
Yep.
That may be about right, or a little more ceiling-ish for Will Howard.
And I think that's why 8 is a good spot for him. That's kind of what they're dealing with, too, is uncertainties. And who knows what rumors are true or not true. But with all this speculation about Aaron Rodgers, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And I honestly, Will Howard, I mean, I'm excited for Pittsburgh fans for that. I wanted the Cowboys to take Will Howard. I think he's got a lot of upside to him in the coming years.
Especially if he's behind Aaron Rodgers for a year or two.
Yeah.
And, maybe that's...
As long as he doesn't psychologically do a Zach Wilson on him.
Just break him. I think there's better upside there. But, yes,
I agree with you.
Right in there. It all depends on who's quarterback. Number 7.
Yes, the Houston Texans.
Now, out of the gate this year, it sounds like Tank Dell will be out for the entire season.
The whole year?
Whole year.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is not what you want to hear for the Houston Texans.
That's terrible.
They did sign Christian Kirk from the Jaguars. I think was their replacement.
That's a good pick.
Good pick. You already have, well, I guess you don't have Stephon Diggs anymore, but you do still have Nico Collins and...
forget who the other one is. Tank Dell, Nico.
They have Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz is a great pass-catching tight end.
Yeah,
and they did draft two receivers from Iowa State.
Interesting.
They drafted Jaden Higgins, reminded some evaluators of Nico Collins.
Okay.
And Jalen Knoll also says he's a good route runner who could fill Tank Dell's role in 2025. And again, Iowa State. 2 Iowa State receivers, so that's interesting.
Good chemistry, maybe.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for the Chargers with the 2 TCU wide receivers, but hats off to them if it works. It sounds like they did draft, knowing that the wide receiver position might be a gap, given the two players that are no longer going to be playing.
And they have a new offensive coordinator, too, so we'll see how that goes. But, I mean, given what they're going up against, they should be able to pull off division champs again.
Yes,
what do you think?
They will make the playoffs. I don't see the Colts, Jaguars, or Titans being an immediate threat. In a doomsday scenario for C.J. Stroud, Colts and Jaguars are, biting each other's necks, trying to get to the second spot. But we'll have to see. Texans, I should have
number 6.
Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I like the draft. Marion Hampton in the first round took me by surprise, but him and Najee paired together might be the duo running backs that he was hoping J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards were last year. They drafted pretty good. Trey Harris, obviously wide receiver. They need They need to get Justin Herbert some weapons.
Yep.
That's been apparent. Quentin Johnston had a better year, except when it came to the playoffs. When the lights shine brightest, what are you going to do? Lad McConkey, huge hit last year.
Yep.
Jim Harbaugh's history is last year was the year they had. Quite the step up from the previous year.
5-12 to 11-6.
Yep. And then from there, they should win a playoff game. And as of late, Jim Harbaugh went on the record saying, he woke up in the night saying, I need to get this guy to the Hall of Fame.
I was going to say that.
I'm going to make it the official announcement that if Justin Herbert makes it to the playoffs and loses the next playoff game, that's Kirk Cousins.
Oh.
I'm not doing the Phillip Rivers song and dance again.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. At least he beat Lamar Jackson in his rookie season and
the
beat Andy Dalton at the Bengals several years before that we were at. But you got to win a playoff game.
I think the Chargers this year will make another step, go 12-5.
Yes.
I think you will see a even more disciplined team than you saw going from 5-12 to 11-6. And I think Justin Herbert will win a playoff game.
I think so too.
At least one.
And to moderate myself, I don't think Justin Herbert is a bad quarterback. It's just damning when you're up that much on the Jaguars and lose, and there's a lot going on in that game. Believe me, I remember every second of it. And there's a lot going on in that Texans-Chargers game that went just totally wrong.
Yeah.
He needs to break that wall of the nerves, I think. I think the Jaguar game fucked with him mentally, and the Texans game just showed it. And Jim Harbaugh has worked with nothing and made a great defense. Poona Ford going to the Rams is a huge loss. They drafted accordingly. That defense will step up. They have Khalil Mack. Joey Bosa not being there is almost more of a blessing than a curse.
I agree.
I think the Bills don't realize what they got, and it might help the Bills because they really just need veterans. We'll get to that shortly. But I think the Chargers' defense can hold up enough if they can get enough weapons. Quentin Johnston didn't do Justin Herbert any favors. Austin Eckler at Jaguars didn't do Justin Herbert any favors. I'm not out. I still love him as a quarterback for the Chargers. I'm just saying it's going to get loud quickly if there's going to be an 0-3 playoff record. With Joe Burrow doing what he did his rookie year.
Totally with you. I mean, I completely think that Joey Bosa being gone is actually an improvement. Mm-hmm. There's just something about the way he carries himself that I don't think fits Jim Harbaugh.
It doesn't.
And so I think that's a good step.
And Ohio State versus Michigan State. Who knows? I can imagine they're beyond that, but you never know. So that rivalry runs deep.
Yep. Number 5. Cincinnati Bengals.
The Bungles
paid $2 gazillion to Chase and Higgins,
and
the receivers.
Trey Hendrickson is probably feeling that right about now.
Yeah, it's still up in the air, right?
There is a lot riding on, will the Bengals re-sign him? And if they do, how will they get it done? They've got to make some changes. Putting all their money in the wide receivers, it makes sense. Joe Burrow, when he has those two, is a beast.
Yep.
I don't necessarily blame them because the spot they were in, they needed to pay.
Yep.
They paid Mike Gesicki, great tight end from the Dolphins that showed up last year. Got to, take that into account.
Yep.
But now that defense.
Shamar Stewart. They
drafted meh.
Bengal fans are not overly thrilled with that one.
No.
Only 4.5 sacks over 3 seasons.
Yep. They drafted 2 guards, 2 linebackers, and a running back in the draft. Now, the running back, they signed P. Ryan. That's not too bad. They restructured Zach Moss's deal. Not too bad.
No.
They need to get a good running game. Not Jamar Chase, but Chase Brown.
Yep.
Obviously, that being there is going to help them a bunch.
Yep.
I mean, he showed up late in the season, but it's clear that he can do it. Obviously, Khalil Herbert from the Bears, when he fumbled his first attempt with the Bengals, probably not going to do it. But you have Chase Brown now, so that's not a bad thing.
So there you go.
They need to get that defense.
Yep.
They need to sign Trey Hendrickson. Sam Hubbard.
Yep.
Retired. He cannot help.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's not there anymore. So this defense, they need to hope those 2 linebackers they drafted are godsends.
Yeah.
And they love small market and Skyline Chili.
Whew.
For the love of God. But
come on.
I keep telling everybody this. Bengals games might be the most exciting to watch next year for the sole point that it might end up with a 55-50 score every week.
Stripes all around.
And, even when there's snow, it might even be more exciting.
Oh, my gosh. Slip sliding away.
Yeah. I don't know what to think. Bengals at 5 because it's Burrow.
Yep.
Got to respect it. I can't deny it. But also, the Chargers beat them at L.A. last year, and they almost came back.
Yeah.
Got to give respect to the Bengals.
Hey, they're always in a game as long as he's got Burrows in there with Chase and Higgins.
If Burrow's alive, they'll be fine. Now, they still don't... It still doesn't feel like they understand that he needs to stay alive.
Yeah.
But
the line's still a little...
It got maybe a little better, but that's riding on rookie draft picks. Yeah, exactly. So, Bengals fans, comment below. I know we got a bunch of you that watch this. Comment below what you think on that evaluation. That's kind of what it seems like it stands at, but we'll see.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Now, this next one, this next ranking...
Now we're getting spicy.
This is a ceiling pick,
yes.
if you ask me.
Number 4.
Denver Broncos. Mile high, mile dry. Sean Payton's back in this shit.
Bo Nix is a machine.
Bo Nix is a damn good quarterback.
Bo Nix is... He may be... I don't know. He's a tough... just tough as could be.
He is.
I mean... I don't know. I'm amazed. What a fantastic rookie year.
I think it's a combination of Sean Payton having the quarterback that he wanted with a number 10 quarterback from Oregon.
Yeah.
You already saw that with LA. He copied it, and it's working pretty damn good for the Broncos.
They drafted R.J. Harvey, the running back. We thought they'd take a running back earlier. A lot of people thought they'd take Campton. They didn't. They got Evan Ingram from the Jaguars, which is a great pickup.
Great tight end.
So... and then on defense, my goodness, they got Greenlaw from the Niners.
Yeah.
I don't know Hufanga, if that was a draft pick or a free agent pickup. Sure. But that Jahdae Barron, remember us talking about him for the draft?
Yep.
That guy can play all over the secondary. And so they can mix coverages, disguise coverages. That defense was already good.
It was.
And they just... loaded with more talent in there.
There's a couple linebackers in the Broncos that scared me every time the Chargers played them. 4 is feasible. I think 4 is a little high. But if they stay on the trajectory that they did last year and there's not much of a slump, which I don't think you can have when you're playing underneath Sean Payton, I mean, it looks like he's found his reincarnate Drew Brees a little bit.
It does.
And it's horrifying.
Yeah.
But the Broncos did a lot. They did a lot with nothing last year.
They did.
Obviously, you have Mims. I'm trying to think of the other wide receiver. They had a wide receiving core that was
Sutton.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Courtland Sutton.
Sutton. Just really good. And those running backs.
Yeah.
No one thought those running backs would amount to anything.
They got enough out of them.
I think they had 3 different running backs playing in a single game every week.
And now they got a better one.
Now they got an actual running back.
So.
I'm a little horrified. We'll have to see how it shakes up. I do think 4 is high for them. I would probably put them more at 6, 7.
Yeah.
Maybe slide the Texans down 1. Put the Broncos there.
God, that AFC West is just a bitch.
And every coach is over the age of 60. Or something like that.
Yeah.
It's damning.
They might be wheeling Pete Carroll out of there.
Yeah. They might be by the end of it. But Broncos, hey, future looks bright.
They might be in the divisional playoff round. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Number 3.
Buffalo Bills.
All right. Well, I don't know.
They signed... who they signed back? Khalil Shakir. Signed him to a 4-year deal. Mm-hmm. Well deserved. Micah Hyde retires.
Yeah?
That's notable. Now, they also signed Joey Bosa, like we talked about a few minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, if anything, with how well they drafted on defense, I think they did that with the intention of drafting defensively and bringing Bosa in as more of a Von Miller role where he's trying to help out the team and he'll come in on a few snaps.
Yeah. They used their first 5 picks on defense, right?
Yep.
So they go cornerback, Maxwell. So they had a Kentucky fetish going on. Apparently the Bills are attracted to Wildcats.
Now that would be interesting.
So Maxwell... I noticed this year, there's a lot of teams that took multiple players from the same school.
Yes.
There's probably 5 teams that drafted multiple, and one team did it twice.
Oh.
That was, who do we talk about before that took both the Iowa State receivers?
Oh, Texans?
Was that? Yeah, Texans. Mm-hmm. They also took 2 players from Ohio State, I think, or something.
Wow. Interesting.
And maybe the Steelers did it too. Maxwell Harrison, the cornerback who we had coming up into the first round, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be darn good. T.J. Sanders, defensive tackle. Landon Jackson, I think defensive end from Arkansas.
Yep.
And then they got 6'7", 340-pound defensive tackle from Kentucky, Deion Walker.
That sounds like a big boy.
Oh, Lord.
And,
That's a lot of beef.
Last year, Sean McDermott had the worst passing defense and worst third down defense of his career with the Bills as a head coach.
Jeez.
It's very apparent that they've done everything in their power to fix that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if Knox and Kincaid, obviously I think Kincaid's still there. I don't know if anything happened to Knox. Some of the stuff of retirement and whatnot slides around before the season starts. But assuming they still have Khalil Shakir, is it Coleman, Kincaid,
I think so.
and Knox?
And they got Joshua Palmer.
Josh Palmer, James
and
Cook.
Elijah Moore.
Their offense is fine.
So
you've got Josh Allen.
He doesn't really. He's kind of one of those guys, almost like Brady used to be, Tom Brady, where just give me somebody that could catch. I don't care.
Can they run? Can they catch?
It doesn't need to be, Jerry Rice.
No, and that's the thing now their defense is looking mighty fine. I argue 3 might be low. Okay. But I will say, still have to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, at least
brutal.
the Bills team in the 90s lost to the Super Bowl 4
times. Yeah.
I mean, this one can't get there.
Yeah. Late 80s, early 90s. Yep.
When you have Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and then your B-tier quarterbacks, Tua, Herbert, C.J. Stroud, etc., they should be higher, but I don't know if I'd be comfortable putting them above 3.
No, I don't think so.
Yet.
They just don't have enough. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's coaching.
Maybe it's coaching.
And I think they can't get over the hump.
I think they made a couple coaching changes as well. I don't think it was necessarily huge coordinator changes, but they have a new special teams coordinator.
Oh.
Averagely for special teams last year, the Bills were not as good with punting. I think they booted their punter and signed someone new. Nice. So I think that could be part of the equation a little bit. Field position matters. Who knows?
Yeah.
Just
got some high kicks coming. All right. Right on.
Sky balls. Number 2.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs being 2 feels wrong. Out of the gate, I'm just going to say it. I don't think you have enough room. And I guess since there's only 2 teams left, we could talk about it. I'm putting the Kansas City Chiefs at 1.
I
Ravens
would too.
at 2. Ravens haven't done it yet either.
No, the Ravens haven't proven they could get over the hump.
Lamar hasn't done it. Josh Allen hasn't done it.
And now, you had Derrick Henry and you still couldn't get it done. I don't know how you found defeat out of that one, but
that was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about it. There's something about the team. They don't have the strut.
Yeah, and was that the end of it where Mark Andrews missed the 2 balls and everyone was ready to take him out back in Old Yeller?
That was brutal.
Wanted to tend to the Wabbits, George. Yeah.
We really thought, you had the Ravens the year before, right?
Yeah.
And I really thought last year with Derrick Henry, that'll do it. That'll put him over.
That's the run the ball.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Mark Andrews can't catch and Justin Tucker can't kick. We'll get into that in a minute, but
they've got a little bit of the curse there or something.
Don't they?
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
So, shocker. They needed an offensive lineman. They got one at 32.
Yep.
Got a good one. So, that line was an issue. Joe Tooney's gone.
Yes.
So, that was the big deal against the Eagles, right?
Yep, and they kind of addressed it right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, you're late in the first round, so you got to do what you can, and they took a hell of a offensive tackle there.
Yeah. And then Norman Lott. Not the Omar, but okay. Omar Norman Lott from Tennessee in the second round is an interior pass rusher. I really liked him in the draft.
Oh, shit.
And when they put him next to Chris Jones on the inside, that's going to be interesting to see how teams handle that shit.
They're both going to be elevated. I mean, you got to have a good O-line as usual when you have Chris Jones going up against you.
Yeah. And then Brashard Smith, SMU running back, a little on the smaller side.
But not P. Ryan. When you have Pacheco that was injured last year, you got to account for it.
Yep, and apparently explosive playmaker. So.
Oh God, 2 running back in the backfield. That's kind of horrifying for them.
But it'll be interesting to see how they take care of their O-line. That was their big issue.
Yes, it was, and it looks like it also got a wide receiver from Utah State. No idea, but can't hurt. Is Rashee Rice going to be back this year?
I think
It's got to be,
so.
right?
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, I'll put a little blurb up here.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't like to read Chiefs news more than I have to, so.
DeAndre Hopkins left.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins left. Right to our number 1, Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
Boy, oh boy. I wouldn't put the Ravens at 1 because they haven't done it, but they drafted like they've been there before.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah, I think Malachi Starks, safety at 27, is an outstanding pick. Mike Green, who had some questions, pass rusher, questions about him in terms of some off-field stuff, I think. Yeah. Got him at 59. Those are both starters.
Yes. Got an offensive tackle in the draft. I mean, it felt like they really addressed some O-line, defensive line issues. It's a bit horrifying. They really did draft well this season.
Yep, and they got in the 6th round one of my favorite picks, slot cornerback Robert Longerbeam. I just like the name.
That's a hell of a name.
Longerbeam.
Get that jersey if you're a Baltimore fan. But, Ravens, you got D-Hop. You still have, oh my God, Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers. Henry. Bateman's probably still there.
Yeah. Yep.
Justice Hill, great catching running back.
Yep.
They should have all the pieces.
And I don't know. John Harbaugh just can't seem to get him over the Andy Reid hump.
No, and Andy Reid's a tricky son of a bitch.
He is.
And that's what the Bills and Ravens keep running into.
Yep.
If I'm redoing our referenced rankings, shout out Jordan Tahini. But
yeah,
it's one of those things where, okay, the Ravens, Bills should be there.
Yeah.
They're not. Chiefs still run that AFC.
They do.
Whether we want to admit it as collective AFC fans or not, they simply do.
Yep. And I would say Broncos and Chargers on an outside shot to get up into those 4. Yeah. I don't know. That's what I think.
And
I don't think Cincinnati's got enough.
Cincinnati needs that defense.
Yeah.
They need to prove the defense works. If they do that, I put them at 2 immediately. But if they don't, you could see them slide to 10.
So, little preview on the schedule real quick.
Yeah, let's hit it.
So, what do they normally do? The first Thursday game is usually a rematch of, do you remember?
No, but last year was the Brazil game.
Oh, it was? On Thursday?
Yeah. Or maybe the Friday game was Brazil.
Friday game.
Sorry.
It said Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
And Thursday is usually
some sort of rematch.
Yeah, is that usually not the Super Bowl, but like the championship game?
Or one of those, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see if it's like Ravens, I don't know if the Eagles
Chiefs,
and the Chiefs play.
Or it'd be Eagles and they could do Commanders.
Oh, that would be good. Eagles and Commanders.
Because Friday night, I think what could supposedly be the Brazil game this year is the Chargers.
Okay.
And I can't remember who the second team is, but if they keep that true, that means Friday night's going to be Chargers versus someone.
Broncos.
Or Chiefs.
Or Chiefs.
I could see it being Chargers Chiefs.
Yeah, you're going to get the main players on the first couple nights.
And that's how you wean in Patrick Mahomes is the first divisional game is Chargers Chiefs, which who knows what that looks like in Brazil.
Yeah.
But I could see that if they did Eagles Commanders that Thursday night.
That would be a great...
Because then you get the Super Bowl champs, you get the number 1 quarterback come up, Jaden Daniels, and you roll that right into a Brazil fiesta with, Chargers with Harbaugh. There's plenty of story narratives there. Hard time beating the Chiefs. Into the Patrick Mahomes runner-up is that O-line fixed and Chris Jones. And Xavier Worthy, for the love of God. And then Monday night... or Sunday night.
Sunday night.
What do you do there?
Gosh, I don't...
Do you go back to the NFC then? And
maybe.
Sunday night you do
Eagles, Commanders.
Lions, Packers?
Could be something like... It seems like the Lions are going to be in there somewhere.
I'm trying to think of division. 49ers, Rams?
Yeah?
I mean, I have to feel like it's NFC, and there's nothing in the NFC South anybody wants to watch.
No.
So it's going to be West or North.
Yep.
Because the East already played on Thursday night.
Right.
So if you're going West or North, I'm seeing Lions, Packers, or maybe 49ers, Rams.
Yeah, there you go.
And then if you bounce back to the AFC for Monday night, I'm guessing like Ravens, Bengals.
That would be right. Or maybe Ravens, Bills.
Ravens, Bills.
If they play.
Yeah, that'd be electric.
They probably won't do a division. They might. They might.
I don't think they usually do. I think they save that typically for the next week.
Can you bet on these on FanDuel?
No, you can't bet on schedules.
Damn it, man.
But those potential matchups, I mean, they're making a whole show out of it this year.
Whole show.
So, I mean, I don't know if I'll watch it like that. I'll probably have it on the side somewhere.
Probably just want to see what it is and study it real quick and then absorb it. And I don't listen to a bunch of talking heads about it. But
for sure. And because that comes out the night of next week, after we're done doing this, next week we'll do the NFC rankings. This is way too early. NFC, AFC rankings, if you will. And then the following week, we'll deep dive some schedule. Yep. Maybe focus on 1 week. Yep. And then going forward, maybe some teams.
I'm going to go ahead and do a mock week 1 schedule.
All right.
And I'll have that ready for the next week to show you.
Okay. So it'll come out after the schedule comes out, but we did it beforehand.
Yeah, exactly.
Too funny.
If we hit too many, you'll know we're making it up.
Oh, for sure. And I forgot to say something earlier in the podcast, but thank you all so much for the love on the last video.
Thank you.
I think I ended at like 125 views.
Sweet.
A few likes.
Fabulous. 80. Where are we at subscriber-wise?
87.
87. Right on.
Don't forget, subscribe, like if you enjoyed the video. We'll have the NFC for you next week. And as always, everybody have a great, safe week, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Peace.